1 year ago, almost to the day, we launched this podcast with a pretty scrappy elevator pitch and a clear mission to help small business owners DIY their marketing on a budget.
So today, 1 year later, we're reflecting on what has changed and what we've learned along the way, and how our own elevator pitch and our advice to our clients about their elevator pitches has changed and evolved. I'm Janae.
And I'm Brooke, and this is the Big Bad Marketing Podcast. We are two women running a marketing agency who know what it's like to build something from the ground up.
This show is for real small business owners with small budgets and busy lives and a big dream to build something that's real and sustainable and a business that actually supports their lifestyle. So if you want to DIY your small business marketing on a budget, you are in the right place.
Let's do
Let's do it.
this. Wow, 1 year of doing this podcast.
So, you know what strikes me is we were laughing because today, 1 year into doing this, is the first time where we got our audio set up on the first try. After an entire year, you'd think we'd have it like down pat. And that has just been a complicated beast in our podcast journey.
But headed into the second year, we are, solid,
Oh,
solid on the
yes.
audio.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And I I've been thinking back to when we started having conversations about, hey, we should do a podcast. And we're both sort of like, oh yeah, I've always wanted to do one, and wouldn't that be fun? And just like the casual conversations and the texts and the excitement. And then we recorded the first one on Zoom, and it was sort of like, oh, that's it. Like we're just gonna take this thing and slap it on the internet, and it's just gonna go
We'll see what
live in the
happens.
ether. This is how it goes. And it was
Yeah.
yeah, exciting and in some ways just very anticlimactic of being like, oh, that's all it is. It's an audio file and you post it on the
Yeah.
internet.
Okay. My memory of this situation was I was traveling in Mexico and we were talking about like, oh, we should do this maybe before I went to Mexico. We were like, we should think about doing a podcast and a business and stuff. And then when I came back, I'm like, okay, Brooke, let's do it. I am invigorated. Like something about the colores, right? Then the la vida. I was like, yes, let's live. Let's make this business happen. And so I remember we recorded the podcast, and then I just like dabbled around with Spotify maybe and uploaded it and sent it to you. I was like, okay, it's on the internet. And you were like, what? You put it on the internet? Are you serious? Our podcast is real?
Yes.
Then it has been.
Yeah. And it was extremely exciting. And I've had a ton of fun with this over the last year. I have to say, this has been one of the things that has felt really good. And when we did our year in review, it's like one of the things that has brought us both, I think, a lot of enjoyment. And we love this.
Yes, it's a little podcast baby. And I think we've had moments of being like, look how many people are listening to us. This is amazing. And it's like 10 people. Um,
But really exciting when you're like, oh, wait, that's not just our parents.
Yes, yes. And I don't know. I don't know yet that the listenership has changed all that dramatically, but I think we have gotten better at what we're doing and we've built out a process and now we're just sticking to it and we're committed. And not to say we're holding on to something that needs to get burnt down and started over. But I think we're figuring out how to refine each day, every time we do it. And like I said, this was the first day where our audio was seamless. Um, so I think it's a testament to this commentary we hear a lot, which is all the things that look like overnight successes are actually like years in the making, and it just came up quickly because it was already there, and now you're seeing it. So that's where we're at.
Yeah. And the idea of like, don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle or end.
Oh, I love that.
And yeah. But I think so when we initially started the podcast, obviously had, zero plan for topics or anything, what we were going to talk about. So we started with this idea of an elevator pitch because it felt so foundational to being a business owner and to selling yourself, both as a person and as someone who is trying to convince someone to buy a thing.
Yes. And it's funny because it just feels like it's gone in such a big circle with that, right? We were like, this is where you start, write the elevator pitch. What do we do? And that was a huge undertaking for us, trying to figure it out and articulate it well and clearly and put it into a succinct, short enough message that you can memorize it and you can say it out loud and not feel clunky or like you're reading a book. And it's only in retrospect that I'm like, well, duh, that was hard. Like we hadn't figured out all of the things yet that we needed to for our business that would have made it easier to build the elevator pitch after instead of build the elevator pitch first and then figure out all the business stuff.
But, this building a business thing is messy and sometimes you go in the wrong order. But an interesting thing upon reflecting on how we described building an elevator pitch in 2024, I think the template that we provided, and we'll link to the blog post, which has the templates clearly outlined for
The
you.
vintage one.
The vintage one, it's now vintage, it's a year old. We'll refresh it a little bit too. But the templates are solid. The templates are sound, right? And
Mm-hmm.
our elevator pitch has evolved as we've figured things out about our audience and their pain points and our business and how we want to show up and talk to people. But the templates themselves, like your
Like the
elevator pitch,
format.
yeah, containing who you are, what you do, who you serve, why it matters, and what to do next. Like that template for speaking to your ideal prospect, that is still 100% legitimate. I have no notes. I would make no changes 1 year later. Would you?
No, no, I think that that is solid because it just clearly hits on all the main points. But I was going to say, can we take it back a second for our brand new listener who's here for the first time? By the way, welcome. Thanks for listening. Um, what do we even mean when we're talking about an elevator pitch? Because we're like, oh, listen to this legacy episode about our old elevator pitch and how much it's evolved. And we will do that. But talk to us from a high level. Like, we're talking to you, business owner. We're trying to explain to you what is an elevator pitch and why do you need it?
Yeah. So, and this is funny because it is one of the first things we end up talking to clients about, isn't it? Right? We meet them for the first time and we say, okay, give us your elevator pitch. Because your elevator pitch is a really brief, succinct synopsis of who you are and what you do. And it's not when you sit down in an interview and somebody says, so tell us about yourself. And people will drone on and on and on. And they'll give you, well, I went to elementary school here, and here's where I was born, and I was raised this way, and yada, yada. No, your elevator pitch is like 3 to 5 sentences max that very clearly convey who you are and what you do, and is a way that you can introduce yourself in networking situations, in random encounters at the grocery store, in, any number of scenarios where you're meeting
Mm,
another person for the first time.
sure, especially if that person could potentially be a prospect for you, right? Not in
Yes.
a like cringy salesy way, but like, oh, this is what I do. Maybe it serves you at some point, or maybe you know someone who it would serve. So I just like telling people just in case it would benefit them to have that kind of support in their for us in their business in their life.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would agree. So new small business owner, person listening for the first time, person listening for the 100th time. This elevator pitch is your opportunity to sell yourself in a really quick, easy, digestible way without doing exactly what you just said, Brooke, drone on and on. And I like to think about keeping it short and sweet. And I mean, you can be like cheeky if that's your brand voice or your personality. Like, I don't mean sweet, be all sweet, but um, the place here where you're not going into a lot of detail, you're just giving a really high level look at it so that they get the person you're talking to gets a sense of like what are you talking about, and also what's in it for me. And I like to think if you can keep it packaged nicely in 60 seconds or less, you are nailing it. Like, how much more than that is someone going to talk that you're going to listen to everything they say and get something out of it? Like, if you could do it less than 60 seconds, that's even better. What do you think, Brooke?
Totally agree. And this is one of those situations where less is more, and taking time to develop a really impactful elevator pitch with fewer, more meaningful words is going to benefit you later. Because, yes, the attention span of people is short. And when we put ourselves in certain situations, specifically networking events where you're going and you're like, I want to connect with as many people as I possibly can over the next 30, 60, 90 minutes. And you're just sort of go, 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 go. Having something that is maybe even 30 seconds, 40 seconds max can really
Mm-hmm.
serve you well because one, you're going to have to say it a lot, but other people aren't going to lose focus when you're taking too much time.
Sure, they're going to actually listen to what you say, especially if it's compelling and surrounds what's in it for me. Why does this matter to me? Why is this important?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a good hook in there.
Yeah.
And Brooke, I feel like it was excellent practice when we were at the expo. So Brooke and I, we did a small business expo to show up as big bad marketing, put ourselves out there, meet people, talk about what we do. And if nothing else from that expo experience, I just got so good at saying a quick elevator pitch and being personable and friendly. Like that's already sort of my tendency as a human, and maybe that's not yours. So highly recommend going to one of these events so you kind of break out of it if that's the push you need. But it was awesome to just practice different iterations of the elevator pitch, and maybe even more nuanced is like try to tailor it to the specific conversation that I was having. So instead of using this canned 5 sentence thing that I would say to someone in the street, right? Like having that and then being able to ad lib a bit or improvise based on, even if it was a small exchange before that, like based on what they had already told me about themselves or just the feeling I was getting while I was talking to them. Like, does this matter to them? Does this not matter? I don't know. I'm feeling it out and I'm playing with my words based on that.
Yeah. I love that. And when I am in a situation like that, I like to sort of let the other person go first. So I like to lead in with a, so tell me about what you do. And in the case of the expo, hey, are you a small business owner? Tell us about your business. Because it does give you that ammunition to then
Mm,
alter the first line of
sure. Oh,
your
yeah.
elevator pitch, or, like, okay, Brooke, I am co-founder of Big Bad Marketing, and it gives me the opportunity to then be like, we help small business owners who are short on time to understand how to do their marketing more strategically, or we help small business owners who only have, $500 a month. Whatever happened in that prior conversation, you just sort of slide these things in and test different versions of it to see what most resonates with the person that you're talking to. And that's, I think, keeping your elevator pitch a little flexible in that way is
Mm-hmm.
really helpful.
But hey, if you're just starting out, it's okay to like memorize 3 or 5 lines and keep them
Totally.
and just practice, 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 see what's working, and then you can change one line at a time, right? There's no one way to do this.
Yeah.
All right, Brooke, I want to hit you with, can you give our initial elevator pitch? Do you want to share where we started with our elevator pitch when we were like, let's build an elevator pitch and we didn't even know what we were selling yet?
Oh, yeah. All right. So here from the last, well, from the first podcast is our ideal prospect elevator pitch. And in that podcast, too, we talked about sort of a blanket elevator pitch and then a more detailed ideal prospect elevator pitch. So this is the more detailed version. So I had said, hi, I'm Brooke. I'm a digital marketer and owner of Big Bad Marketing, a firm that shows small business owners how to play big with their marketing efforts, even on a small business budget. We do the heavy lifting for owners who don't have the time, skills, or energy to figure out marketing on their own. We've helped local businesses like yours increase their website traffic by over 250% in just 6 months. So that
Boom.
was sort of a take on it that at the time was like, okay, this is fine. This seems to hit some points. And then obviously assuming that we're talking to a local business owner who is looking to revamp their website or build an entirely new website. Um, and Janae, how much we've learned
Oh yeah.
in
And
time.
oh yeah, and refined that. And I think overarchingly, we didn't just scratch this and be like, throw it out, start over, which we could. We still could. We could have done that and we still could. But I think it's the little iterations over time that makes such a difference, because now we're like, okay, is that what we're focused on? Right. Like the increasing website traffic, like that's been less of our focus. So we sort of shifted that to lean into more helping you find your right customers. That's kind of where we're seeing the sweet spot with our ideal customers is that they don't know where to find their customers. So we're wanting to appeal to that in when we speak to them. So the invitation here is for you to do the same and think about, what does your ideal customer want? Where are they hanging out? And speak to them where they are.
Yeah. And thinking about your own offers and what you are ultimately trying to lead somebody into. Because at the end of the day, your elevator pitch is an opportunity to draw in your ideal prospects and repel everybody else. So if you have a certain thing that you do or something that you don't do, like, we could even put into our elevator pitch right now, like, we don't do, you know, paid advertising campaigns. Like, we don't manage the nitty gritty of paid advertising campaigns for our clients. Or maybe we're just sort of moving away from the done for you marketing, except for our consulting clients. So we can sort of discount people who are only like, hey, I need a paid ads expert. Like, okay, that's not us. But
Yeah, that's not
we
us.
obviously would need to know that about them. But,
Know your
either
area of genius.
yes, yes, and include your zone of genius. And by way of doing that, you'll likely turn off the people that don't meet that.
Sure. And small business owner listener, if you are also on a quest to be in service, to get your business out there, to grow what you're doing and reach the right people, and you want to do that by refining over time and by having supportive guidance that really helps you make changes for the better for your small business, sign up for our email newsletter. It's totally free. And we share really helpful educational tips, ideas, strategies, free templates, so you can build out things like an elevator pitch or your offers and refine what you're doing over time. And you can sign up for that at www.bigbadmarketing.com. Would love to
Slash
see you there.
newsletter.
Oh, yeah, slash newsletter. Thank you. Yes.
Or
That's a
you
great
can get
point.
there from other places too. Or we have a an opt-in in the blog post for this episode, which we'll link to as well. So you can sign up right there and
Yeah.
get some
Yeah. Yeah.
very cool freebies when you do.
Ooh, yes.
Mm,
Yeah. But also just like support in building your business.
absolutely. Yeah. And that's really what we are doing at Big Bad Marketing. So I think, the things that we have changed about our elevator pitch over the last year are more in service of the offers that we are looking to get people to buy. So we're talking more about consulting, about coming alongside you, about helping with strategic planning, and, finding that most of the clients that sign on with us are sort of saying, hey, I don't mind getting my hands dirty and doing the work, but I just need someone to tell me what to do and then someone to hold me accountable to doing it. Because
Check in with me.
yeah, by
Help me
myself,
troubleshoot.
yeah, it's like when I'm alone and I'm trying to build this business by myself, it's just not moving.
Yeah. Or, I think what we're finding a lot is folks have proof of concept. They know that they provide value, right? Like they've sold the thing more than once to several people, they've made some money from it, but they're not able to keep that consistent flow of leads, of people, of prospects, of people to become customers. And that is so indicative of like unclear offers. And like when you look under the hood, just the business owner has not yet built out any of these foundational pieces. They know that they can deliver a service and they're really good at delivering that service or providing the service, right? But they don't know how to operationalize a business. And like, how would they? They've never built a business before. That's what they're doing here. So it's really special in our case to get to support folks like that who have a dream and really want to get something out there and do something with consistency that they can rely on over time.
Yeah. And when you, small business owner, are deciding to launch your business, we would encourage you to create a basic elevator pitch as one of your very first steps and start to practice it. Because what we find is that business owners who have a very clear elevator pitch often also have a bit more stable foundations behind the scenes. Because if you're comfortable talking about your business and what you do, generally you have some pretty clear offers, you have pricing that you're confident in, you are confident in the thing that you do. And what's funny is sometimes we'll talk to a business owner and they will just be all lit up talking about the thing that they do. And they're so excited to deliver the service that they do. And you can feel their passion coming through. And then we'll say, okay, well, give us your elevator pitch. And they kind of freeze. And it's sort of like, oh, I can talk all day about this thing that I do and the successes that I've had. But when you put me on the spot and make me feel like I'm on the hot seat and now I need to tell somebody what I do, they kind of freeze up. Have you
Mm-hmm.
noticed that,
Oh
Janae?
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it really is. It's indicative if someone is not prepared to give the a canned elevator pitch, I think it does showcase that there's something messy. There's some wires that are crossed or not connected underneath in the foundations of what they're building. And that's okay because it's like you said earlier, Brooke, like everything in building a business does not go in a logical order. It doesn't go in a straight line. And part of what we do is help tease that out. So it's okay if you bypassed doing all of these steps. Let's do them now and get the things straightened up. But there are also people we've talked to, which is amazing, who they are really clear. They do have a very succinct elevator pitch. And then that is a reflection of they know what their offer is, they know what they're selling, and exactly sort of the parameters around it. I'm thinking of at least one person that we spoke with that just has like, it's a product, it's not a service, but it's just like, it's very clear. It's either A, B, or C, and they all come in different sizes and shapes. And that's it. Like, there's no amorphous confusion around it where I I tend to think if you provide a service, especially a custom service, right? Like a home services repair versus like a digital tool where you're just giving someone access to the service, which ultimately is more of a product than a service, anyways. Um, the more custom it becomes, the more challenging it becomes to articulate in a way that will be compelling to your customer because it's kind of like you want to get it all in there. So whoever the customer is, wherever they are on the spectrum, they're still going to be like, yes, I need that. But if you're like, well, I do this thing and I do this thing and I do this thing and I do this thing, it gets kind of washed out and confusing. And that's where people go in a little bit of a spiral where they can talk about their thing with passion, but they can't articulate clearly what the offer is.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I think another really important thing about the elevator pitch, kind of along those lines, is focus on the person that you're talking to and make sure that you convey the potential benefits for them. So, thinking about, we deal with a lot of home services clients. So, okay, we do roofing. And a lot of times that's where the elevator pitch ends. I'm so and so owner of blah, blah, blah. We do roofing. And it's like, okay, but could you maybe tack on a little bit about why it matters or something that is going to encourage a homeowner to want to work with you? And can you put just a little extra oomph into your elevator pitch? Because yes, obviously everybody understands what a roofing company does. They put on roofs, but can you zhuzh it up a little bit?
In the business of keeping families safe and dry in their homes.
There you go. Yes. We keep local homeowners safe and dry in their homes. Like, isn't that just a more connection kind of thing? Like, you
Mm-hmm.
just feel more connected to someone, or, even
Yeah.
if, and I love the idea of some of your passion coming through in an elevator pitch. And, if it's, this has been in my family for 3 generations, and my grandfather said blah, blah, blah. Like, it's just like use these types of things, use storytelling a little bit in your elevator pitch
Absolutely.
and make it a more compelling thing than just we do roofs and we're like every other roofing company everywhere
Sure.
that also sells roofs.
Sure. You got to differentiate yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
But even the storytelling piece is important because you were saying sometimes, like in an interview, for example, people are like, so tell me about yourself. And most people just go on and they're like, well, I was born here and then I did this and I was on this team and then I went to this school. Like the point of those questions, I mean, in an interview, yes, but also just in general life is to be able to tell about yourself in a compelling way so that there's kind of a story arch and people can follow that and associate you with that story arch more. They're not going to remember the details necessarily of like where you went to college and which sports team you're on if there's no storytelling element. But if you're following this, like, here's the beginning and here's kind of a pain point and then here's the climax of what made me change and shift directions and here's where I'm at now, and it kind of follows this, like, not in a dorky way, but like in a happy ending, like here's where I'm at and here's what I'm doing. I think an elevator pitch can also carry that and be a really effective place to be like, and now here's why I'm doing this and why it matters for you. And now you're all dry and warm in your home because you have a new roof.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. And in an interview context, especially, it's not actually about your past and where you were born. It is about what are you going to bring to the company? And it is about, again, the person that you're talking to. It's about the recipient of your elevator pitch and what are the most important things that you want them to know. So, ultimately, as we revisit the elevator pitch 1 year later, I think foundationally, the templates still stand, the elements still stand, but we just have a whole new appreciation for, and I guess maybe depth of understanding of all the various ways that small business owners can use the elevator pitch to really benefit their businesses.
And I think it will always be a bit of a egg and chicken, which came first. And you can build, if you're brand new in your business and today's the day you're like, I'm building a business. I need an elevator pitch. And you're listening to this episode because you're like, what do I do? Like, write an elevator pitch, hit on those core elements of like, who are you? What do you do? Who do you serve? Why it matters? What is the takeaway for that person, or how can they now work with you? Like, just jot those things down and then be okay with, over time, as you build out those offers, as you really hone in on what you do, what's important to your customers, what their pain points are, rewrite it, iterate, update. Like, this is okay that it's going to, your offer will change at some point. Like, then you can come back to the chicken and egg and be like, now I need to update my elevator pitch. While before, it was the elevator pitch was guiding what your offers are. And it's this ongoing process that I think Brooke and I have the joy of dealing with every day and figuring out, what do we do, and iterating and updating and seeing what it really means to run this business. And we're just right there in it with you. And it's okay. And you're going to figure it out.
Yeah, prepare for the constant iteration. I haven't found that it ends yet, but hey, we're only 1 year in. But
Hey, we're 1 year in.
yeah, which is amazing.
Air high
It's
five.
been, yeah. And listener, if today is the day that you say, I'm going to go start this thing, then kudos, congrats, you've made the big decision. And now it is just a matter of systematically going and doing the thing. So this podcast is here to support you. We've got about, I think, 60 episodes published to date, and
Ooh,
we're going to keep publishing weekly. And if there's a topic that you want to hear about, then head to our website,
let
submit the
us
contact form, let
know.
us know. Would you like to hear? Drop a comment on this post, whatever's the best way to convey that to us, because we always want to be creating content that is in service to our listeners.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And whether it's your first day or you've been in this 10 years, there's always an opportunity to refine and iterate and do 1% better.
Yeah, and reflect.
Reflect. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe if you like it and give us a 5-star review so more small business owners can find this and be empowered to make a business that serves their lifestyle and gets their passion out there.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.